on WTAM 1100.
One of the true greats, Mr. Jack Klugman, in the studio this morning. Sir, it is great to meet you and see you first of all.
Yeah, you're saying the wrong adjective. The great, not the great Jack Klugman, the old Jack Klugman.
No, I said to him earlier, I said, your bio has a mistake. It lists you at 83. Case.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You could pass for 55.
Oh, yeah.
You look great.
And chickens have lips. Yeah. I believe that.
You look great.
But my voice, I want to say, does not hurt to talk. It feels great to be able to talk.
You sound fine to me. Tonight you'll be at Barnes & Noble, Great Lakes Mall in Mentor, signing copies of Tony and Me, Your Years with Tony Randall. One thing that I read, there was an interview that was published in the paper this morning, that I thought this was kind of sad. You said while doing the show, you were completely focused. You were never aware of the love the audience felt for the show.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's only recently now with this book tour. Because you were interested in doing this show. So that's all you care about, except we weren't a hit. But I went out. We sold out in New York at Barnes & Noble. But at night I went to Huntington, and there were about 500 people there. As I came out, they were all sitting and looking at me with such love. And they said, we grew up with you. The only time I heard my father laugh or my mother laugh was when I was sitting with them watching The Odd Couple. Well, you don't know those things. Well, I got goosebumps now. It's so touching, and it's so rewarding to know that you touch people's lives. You don't really know that when you're working. You're not out there saying, okay, I'm going to move people's lives. I'm out there doing a job.
And, Jack, certainly Tony Randall touched your life in a huge way.
Oh, my. You know, we were friends as we did the show and we went on the road. But friendships don't begin really until there's somebody needs. And when I got sick, when I lost my voice, he was the first one at the hospital. And I was so mad because I had no voice, I had no sound. I could only whisper. And I said, I lost my voice, I have no voice. And he said, let's face it, Jack, you never did sound like Richard Burton anyway. But as he left, he said, if and when you're ready to come back, we'll try to find a venue for you. I thought, yeah, you're going to find a venue for me, an actor without a voice. And acting was everything. You got to realize it was everything to me. I didn't know what I was going to be until I was 23. I was bookie. I ran numbers. I did everything in South Philly. So that when this came along and I found that I had talent, it became my best friend, acting. I met people that way. I traveled around the world. I got an identity. I learned that I could learn all from acting. So when I lost my voice, it was not really good.
Jack, how close to true life was the relationship between yourself and Tony Randall? I mean,
well, we didn't live together, so.
Well, I understand.
But, I was sloppier than he was neat. He's the kind of guy he had suits that were 35 years old. He said, don't have them cleaned. It takes the oil out. Well, if he put on a 35-year-old suit, it looked mild, like he put it on. He just bought it. If I bought a brand-new suit, it looked 35 years old.
Yeah.
It just, some guys are, they just look good on clothes. I remember I bought a Burberry coat because a guy, I was touring with Mr. Roberts, and he would throw it on the train, and it would look great. I bought it in 2 weeks. It looked like a rag. There's just some people that have that.
Jack Klugman is with us. He'll be at Barnes & Noble tonight, the Great Lakes Mall Mentor location at 7 o'clock, signing copies of a great read, Tony and Me. If I read this correctly, the two of you, your paths crossed many times on the stage and in television, but it really wasn't until you were hit with cancer that I don't want to call it a true, but that really hard, true friendship began?
Yeah, well, I think that's what happened. When you become needy. See, I never let anybody in my life. It appeared that Tony was like the loner and I was gregarious, but it was the opposite. I was the loner. He was gregarious. He liked to have people around him. And so I would have lunch alone, and we'd go out on the road. I would have dinner alone. He'd offer, let's have dinner. And I'd say, no. But I liked his wife, his first wife. She was a great lady. So sometimes we'd go out to dinner because I liked her. But I try to remain private. Even when I did all the work, all the live television shows, I would always eat alone. But when I was needy, when I needed somebody in my life, I allowed myself to be vulnerable in front of him. And he treated that vulnerability with kid gloves. And I began to trust him. So that when I did the play, finally in New York, I had no voice, I had a little sound. I said, Tony, they won't hear me. He said, don't worry. They love you. They'll hear you. We'll mic you. He was so supportive that I began to trust. I trusted my kids. I let them in my life. Now I have a great relationship with my 2 sons. All because of Tony. But I never had a chance to tell him because I didn't know it. Joey Lewis, the comic, used to say, my piano player's been with me 20 years. I didn't know he drank till he came in sober one day. And I didn't know.
Wow.
And this book is a tribute to Tony and to friendship. And if you have a friend, realize how valuable it is. That's why I wrote the book.
And Jack, I guess the big message there is don't wait till tomorrow to tell someone you love them. Tell them today.
Absolutely, absolutely. You'll regret it. I couldn't find closure until I wrote this book, and I still really haven't. I'm waiting for him to call. He's Jack, Tony calling, with energy and vitality and humor. He could take you to like a museum, and in 2 hours, if you wanted to learn, you would learn everything more than you would learn 4 days at the Loop. He'd teach you what Cupids, the ones with the bows, the ones without the bows, the hats, the collars. And then on the way home in the cab, he'd tell you the best dirty joke you ever heard. And then he was well-rounded. But people didn't know that about him. He seemed aloof, but he wasn't. He was not what he appeared to be.
Tony and Me is the book. It's a story of friendship. Jack Klugman with us in studio. He'll be at Barnes & Noble tonight, Great Lakes Mall there in Mentor, for a signing at 7 o'clock. Hey, we only got about a minute left here. I kind of laughed this morning looking through the television ratings. CSI is so successful. They're just taking the Quincy formula.
Yeah.
That should be a compliment to you.
Well, Quincy was, but they're so concerned with the dead people. We never had a body on when we did an autopsy because it was for the living. If we autopsied somebody and we found out who did a murder, we prevented other people from being murdered.
Right.
Or if there was an epidemic, we did an autopsy, we found out why there was an epidemic, so we stopped people from dying. They worry about the scar and the stitches and the gory detail, which is unimportant. I did a Crossing Jordan. I don't really want to do those shows because they don't really deal with what I think was important, which is the living people.
Finally, and I had a bunch of email when I mentioned you were going to be on, and it was interesting. I had a chance to interview Don McLean years ago, and I got all these emails about what American Pie meant, and I had emails all week about Quincy and the first name. Yeah, and I did some research. That's one of your most asked questions, right?
Yeah, and what was the publicity stuff? We never thought of it. We never had a first name, or maybe he did, but I don't remember it. But when people asked, we'd say, well, that's a secret. And we found we got a lot of publicity out of it, so we used it.
Not bad for a kid from South Philly. Congratulations on all your years of success.
Thanks,
Keep it up, okay? We appreciate it. Jack Klugman in studio. He'll be with you tonight. Barnes & Noble, Great Lakes Mall Mentor, signing copies of Tony and Me at 7 o'clock. He keeps saying he's 83. I don't believe it.